Join me today for a BattleTech product review, this time a Technical Readout 3025, the updated version from 2025. This is the Geek Ball channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about the BattleTech Technical Readout 3025, the updated Millennial Edition, I think they called it. So, some basics before we get into what's actually in the book. This is basically a remake of the original TRO 3025 from years and years ago. However, since they updated all the artwork for the Kickstarters and the new miniatures and everything, this has completely overhauled artwork. So, as far as I'm aware, all the artwork in here is new artwork. And that's significant for a few things that are in here, which we'll get to in a minute. So the artwork, you might have seen it before. You might have seen it before now, because I think the only things that are in here, there is some artwork that this is the first time it's appeared anywhere. I think, maybe not the gentleman that does the artwork. I think it's Anthony Scroggins. I think it's his name. Apologies if I'm getting his name wrong. If I am, let me know down in the comments. He has a Patreon, and I think he circulates his artwork through there as well, and asks people not to repost it, and generally they follow that. So, but some does go up for preview, then of course it gets used in actual books and everything, or as the basis for the models for the miniature line. So part of the idea with this is that it's supposed to be for the year 3025, and this being the year 2025, that's why they call it the Millennial Edition, because this is exactly 1,000 years in the future from now. So, so that's part of the gimmick, which has led people to wonder: are we going to get the update 3026 next year? Because as I'm recording this, it's 2025. I picked this up a few months ago at GenCon, and I mentioned it in the GenCon videos, but I'm just now getting around to doing this. Don't know why it took me so long. I think I was just waiting to try to figure out what the best way to do this is, because this is a book that I need to show you the interior for you to really understand what's in it. And I don't know why I put it off, especially since what I'm going to do that is not exactly like Steven Spielberg level directorial stuff is going to happen here in this video. It's actually going to be pretty straightforward, and something I should have realized what I should have done like back in August. So apologies for the delay. But yeah, so there is part of this book that gives me hope, though, and that part is the fact that they bothered to include and update the artwork to the land air mechs, or lambs. I think there's just 3 of them in here, but they're the original 3, and so the fact that like it costs time and money to update the artwork, and if they bother to update the artwork, then they must feel safe from repercussion from the ever-terror that is Harmony Gold. Now, I believe, I'm absolutely not a lawyer, this is me telling you from what I've read online, I believe they should be safe because that lawsuit was theoretically settled for good and all, dismissed with prejudice and all that jazz. But there weren't any land air mechs in production or in artwork. And those are the ones that it's kind of hard to deny what their inspiration was. A lot of the rest of it, I mean, we know the inspiration was Macross, and I can never think of the other name for it. But it's not just Macross, there's another name for it. It'll come to me here in a minute, probably. And a few other various anime sources for some of the other mechs. And then there's the fact that the transforming ones, or as I believe they were known on the show, BattleTech, you had the main one transforms into what looks like an F-14, and then back. And that would have been, I believe, the Phoenix Hawk Lamb. You also see it in other things. Jetfire in the Transformers looks remarkably like a Phoenix Hawk. That's not an accident, based on the same concept art and everything. So those in particular might pose a sticky problem, because while the rest are big robots that shoot things, these are a little more specific in that they are actually like copying the actions of the ones in Robotech, that's the other word, that's the other name for it. They're actually copying the whole transforming and everything. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, you know, they did make the Urban Mech Lamb. Of course, the Urban Mech Lamb doesn't look like anything from those shows. So it gives me hope that maybe we'll see those three as figures, as miniatures at some point in this appearance. They do have a like Project Phoenix version of them in metal from Ironwood Metals, but not quite the same. Then they made some new ones for the Word of Blake. So, but yeah. So anyway, that gives me hope that we'll actually see those in plastic. I would really like to see those. I'm one of those people that I like the concept of the lambs. I'm aware that in a like gritty war game, they actually don't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. That their use is actually very, very finite. To me, if you could actually like play out really large scale engagements, and I don't just mean lots of units, but I mean over a large area, because they need a large area to work in to be able to be effective. They can be effective as scouts because they're very fast. They can be effective for hit and run deep into enemy territory because, again, very high movement, get over there, hit something, harass it, get back out. They can double as aerospace fighters because they can totally transform, which means that in like a combat drop, if they go in fighter mode, could be useful, and then transform into their mech mode to try to take the ground near where the dropship is going to land, try to secure the landing zone, without having to have mechs jump out of the dropship and potentially crash. So, or in space, in the like first Succession War book, source book, it talks of one of the battles where they had some of these and they sent them in fighter mode against an enemy ship, and they did like a strafing run. Then they turned around and landed on the ship in mech mode, got inside the ship and destroyed it from inside. So again, very narrow use, but I like them. I'm totally like, I can live with that level of, I don't want to say crazy, I can live with that level of not stupidly gritty and fine. I don't think it damages the setting or anything, just like I don't think all the memes and everything about the urban mech, I don't think that hurts anything. I think it's funny, So I think occasionally people need to be able to laugh at themselves, I don't know. Probably sounds weird coming from me. If you knew me, if you knew my opinions on Dungeons and Dragons, you know that I'm like hardcore grit. We don't have time for jokes, but anyway. So let's take a look at what's inside the book here, shall we? And then we'll show you some stuff on the inside. Then we'll cut back for a few final thoughts here. So let's go into the book. Okay, so my super high-tech idea that took me 3 months to come up with is I'm going to hold the phone and open the book and flip through some pages. So we got our cover page here, have our table of contents. Take a look at that here real quick. And then we got our forward. Now this is supposed to be something, this is like an in-universe thing. So as you can see here, this is supposed to have been written in 3125. So for the Republic, as we see over here. Got our little shot here at the beginning with some prints. We got our contents, our list of mechs, aerospace fighters, lambs, dropships, vehicles. Got an introduction. I'll start with the light mechs. And we start here with the Locust, the Wasp. I'm just going to kind of flip through here real quick. The Commando, the Spider. I'm skipping several pages when I'm doing this. So I have the Scout. Let's see if they were still in the... Are we into the mediums yet? The Panther, the Assassin. Yeah, I think it's started the mediums. Make sure here. Yeah. So we have the Assassin, the Cicada. Skip a few here to the Whitworth. Actually, it's probably about to the end. Hang on here. The Vulcan, the Whitworth. And I guess Blackjack, the Hatchet Man, the Enforcer, Dervish, Scorpion. I think it's one of the only two quad mechs in here. Dragon, which I think means that we're into the heavy mechs. Yeah. The Catapult, the Thunderbolt, Getting the assault mechs. There's the Goliath, a Charger there, a Victor. Need to actually flip through this book and open these pages. Zeus. It should not be sticking like this. That's not good. Had to open this up a little bit here for a while. Battlemaster, Stalker, the Banshee, and then the Land Air mechs. So here we have the Stinger. That's in like the hybrid mode. The Wasp Lamb, again, it's in the hybrid mode. And this might be the solution to the miniatures, is only make the hybrid modes. And then the Phoenix Hawk. I mean, the Aerospace Fighters, the Corsair, the Shylone, just one has a miniature, the Transit, the Transgressor, the Cheetah, the Reaver? Oh. The Sadelets, the Chippewa. I got some drop ships. Here's a Leopard class drop ship, Union class, Overlord class. I got our vehicles, the Galleon light tank, the Von Luckner heavy tank. Kind of like the Von Luckner myself. The Packrat long range patrol vehicle, Long Tom mobile artillery, ordnance transport, and we get what we got here: surgical hospital, battle mech repair facility. Got our index here. Then we get into some appendices, editorial notes, talking about a few things. Like there's some of the old artwork, and just some various things here. Yeah. So we get to our back cover. So that is what we have in the Technical Readout 3025 Updated Edition. So there you have some samples of the contents in there. Basically just kind of showing off the new artwork there and just giving you an idea if you've somehow never opened up one of these books. As you can see, there was the artwork and there's told both pages. And some notes about the mechs and vehicles and everything. When they were first introduced, notable pilots, usually with a little blurb about them, armaments, things like that for that particular variant of the battle mech or tank or whatever. One interesting note I didn't come across as I was flipping through there was the fact the Rommel Patton tank was still called the Rommel Patton tank, whereas with the miniatures it's only called the Patton tank. Now, there was a bit of a kerfuffle online about that. I do believe that it was primarily a decision with the miniatures, so there's just the one single name, instead of confusing people with two names for the vehicle. Whereas this is more of a little bit more of a niche product, like not everyone's going to buy these books. So this probably has the explanation for the different names in there. And even at the time, they said they're not erasing the Rommel tank, and it is the Rommel half that got eliminated as far as the name. And, I mean, I can understand not wanting to have the name of a well-known World War II German tank commander being mentioned in your game. Like, some people will take that the wrong way. I think it's been in the game forever, there's not a problem, but, that's my take. It's not my multi-million-dollar corporation that I'm trying to run. So, they want to do that. It's not going to faze me in any way, shape, or form. So, just wanted to make a note of that this book does still use the older naming scheme. Yeah. So, anyway, as you saw, there was a little bit of a couple of pages were kind of stuck together. That happens with print books. So just kind of be aware of that if you're flipping through it. Yeah, that's about all I've got, though. So let me know what you think. Do you plan on picking one of these up? Do you have one? Do you have the original 3025? Do you have both of them? And have you compared them? I don't have the original, so I can't really compare it. Kind of looked around on eBay, and they're not stupidly expensive. I might buy an older one just to have one, because I do have a number of the other TROs. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'd like to thank everyone who helped us get over 400, over 600 subscribers not that long ago. We literally couldn't have done it without you folks. Sharing and commenting would help us grow the channel. It was appreciated. If this is for sale on Amazon, there will be an Amazon affiliate link. If you're interested in this book and choose to buy it that way, we do get, or we potentially get, a small fee, commission essentially is what it is. It does not affect your pricing or the pricing available to you on Amazon or anything. Literally doesn't affect you in any way. So that's up to you though. There are other places to get it. Obviously, you can possibly still get these through Catalyst. Catalyst on their website is really good about, we've got a certain number of these books, and once we sell them, well, here's the PDF. We got infinite numbers of those. So there are other sites for sure. Yeah, and if there isn't an Amazon link, if this isn't sold on Amazon, then I will put links to other places you can check it out. So that's all I've got for today. So just remember, no guts, no galaxy.